The Tragedy of Macbeth by William Shakespeare. Act 1, Scene 1, a desert place, thunder and lightning, enter three witches. First witch, when shall we three meet again, in thunder, lightning or in rain? Second witch, when the hullabaloo is done, when the battle's lost and won. Third witch, that will be ere the set of sun. First witch, where the place? Second witch, upon the heath. Third witch, there to meet with Macbeth. First witch, I come, Grey Malkin. Second witch, paddock calls. Third witch, anon. All. Fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and fill the air. Exeunt. Scene 2, a camp near forest. Alarum within. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donovan, Lennox with attendants meeting a bleeding sergeant. Duncan. What bloody man is that? He can report. Estimated by his plight of the revolt the new estate. Malcolm, this is the sergeant who, like a good and hardy soldier, fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend, say to the king, the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it. Sergeant, doubtful it stood, as to spend summers, that do cling together, and choke their art. The merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying villainies of nature do swarm upon him from the western isles of Kerns and gallowglasses is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarrels smiling, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak for brave Macbeth. Well, he deserves that name. Disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like valorous Minion curved out his passage till he faced the slave, which ne'er shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the nape to the chaps, and fixed his head upon our battlements. Duncan, oh valiant cousin, worthy gentleman. Sergeant, as whence the sun gins his reflection, shipwrecking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence comfort seemed to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark. No sooner justice had with valour armed, compelled the skipping cunts to trust their heels, but the Norman lord serving vantage with furbished arms, a new supplies of men began a fresh assault. Duncan, dismayed not this our captains Macbeth and Banquo? Sergeant, yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons of archers with double cracks, so they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to pay their reeking wounds or memorize under Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint, my gaseous cry for help. Duncan, so well thy words become thee as thy wounds, this make of honour both. Go, get him, sergeants. Exit, sergeant, attendant. Who comes here? Enter Ross. Welcome, the worthy then of Ross. Lennox, what a haste looks through his eyes, so should he look. This seems to speak things strange. Ross, God save the king. Duncan, whence camest thou? Worthy then? Ross, from five great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself with terrible numbers, assisted by the most disloyal traitor. The Thane of Cawdor began a dismal conflict till that Bellona's bridegroom leapt in proof, confronting him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious, arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirit, and to conclude the victory fell on us. Duncan, great happiness. Ross, that now Sweno, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we deign him burial of his men till he disbursed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 to our general use. Duncan, no more that Dane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interest. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former tattle greet Macbeth. Ross, I'll see it done. Duncan, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth hath won. Exeunt. Scene 3, a heath near forest. Thunder, entered the three witches. First witch, where hast thou been, sister? Second witch, killing swine. Third witch, sister, where thou? First witch, a sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. Give me, quoth I. Aroin the witch, The rum-fed Ronion cries, her husband's Aleppo gone muster o the tiger. But in a sea while thither sail, and like a rat without a tail, I'll do, and I'll do. Second wish, I'll give thee a wind. First wish, thou art kind. Third wish, and I another. First wish, I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know. I the shipman's skirt. I will drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day. Hang upon his penthouse lid. He shall live a man forbid. Very sin nights, 9 times 9 shall he dwindle, pick and pine. Though his bark cannot be lost, yet it shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. Second witch, show me, show me. First witch, here I have a pilot's thumb, wrecked as homeward he did come, drum within. Third witch, a drum, Macbeth doth come. All, the weird sister hand in hand, posters of the sea and land. Thus do go about, thrice to thine and thrice to mine, and thrice again to make up 9. Peace, the charms wound up. Enter Macbeth and Benku. Macbeth, so foul and fair a day I have not seen. Benku, how far is called to forests? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are not. Live you, or are you aught? That man may question, you seem to understand me, by each at once her chappy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be woman, and yet your beards forbid me to interrupt that you are so. Macbeth, speak if you can, what are you? First witch, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, then of Glamis. Second witch, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, then of Codder. Third witch, all hail Macbeth, thou shalt be king hereafter. Benku, good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? I, the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly you show, my noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt to dull. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate. First witch, hail. Second witch, hail. Third witch, hail. First witch, lesser than Macbeth and greater. Second witch, not so happy, yet much happier. Third witch, thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo. First witch, Banquo, and Macbeth, all hail. Macbeth, stay you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinel's death I know I am Thane of Glamis. But how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives a prosperous gentleman, and to be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak, I charge you, which has vanished. Banquo, the earth that bubbles as the water has, and these are of them, whither are they vanished? Macbeth, into the air, and what seemed corporeal melted as breath into the wind. Would they had stayed? Banquo, were such things here as we do speak about? Or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? Macbeth, your children shall be kings. Banquo, you shall be king. Macbeth, and then of Cawdor too, went it not so? Banquo, to the self same tune and words whose here enter Ross and Angus. Ross, the king hath happily received, Macbeth, the news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do contend, which should be thine or his, silenced with that in viewing over the rest of the selfsame dame. He finds thee in the stout Northern ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make. Strange images of death as thick as hell came post with post, and every one did bear their praises in his kingdom's great defence, and poured them down before him. Angus were sent to give thee from our royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee. Ross, And for an earnest of a great honour he bade me from him call thee then of Cawdor. In which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine. Banquo, what can the devil speak true? Macbeth, the Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes? Angus, who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did lie in the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he laboured in his country's wreck, I know not, but treason's capital, confessed and proved, have overthrown him. Macbeth aside, Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind. To Ross and Angus, thanks for your pains to Banquo. Do you not hope your children shall be kings? When those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them, Banquo, that trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown besides the Thane of Cawdor. But it is strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truths. Win us with honest trifles, to betray us in deepest consequence. Cousins, a word I pray you. Macbeth aside, two truths are told, as happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. I thank you, gentlemen. Aside, cannot be ill, cannot be good if ill. Why hath it given me earnest of success, commencing in a truth I am then of Cawdor? If good, why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs? Against the use of nature, present fears are less than horrible imaginations. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes so my single state of man that function is smothered in surmise, and nothing is but what is not. Banquo, look, our partners wrapped. Macbeth aside, if chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my star. Banquo, new horrors come upon him, like our strange garments cleave not to their mould, but with the aid of use. Macbeth aside, come what may come, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. Banquo, worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Macbeth, give me your favour. My dull brain was rocked with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered, where every day turn the lip to read them. Let us toward the king think upon what hath chanced, and at more time the interim having wedded, let us speak our free hearts each to other. Banquo, very gladly. Macbeth, till then enough, come friends, exeunt. Scene 4, Forest, the palace. Flourish, enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donovan, Lennox and attendants. Duncan, is execution done on Cawdor? Are not these in commission yet returned? Malcolm, my liege, they are not yet come back, but I have spoke with one that saw him die, who did report that very frankly he confessed his treasons, implored your highnesses pardon, and set forth a deep repentance. Nothing in his life became him like the living, it he died, as one that had been studied in his day to throw away the dearest thing he owed, as it were a careless trifle. Duncan, there is no earth to find the mind's construction in the face. He was a gentleman on whom I built an absolute trust. Enter Macbeth, Banquo, Ross and Angus. Oh, what this, cousin? The scene of my ingratitude, even now, was heavy on me. Thou art so far before that swiftest wing of recompense is slow to overtake thee. Would thou hadst less deserved that a proportion both of thanks and payment might have been mine. Only I have left to say, more is thy due, more than all I can pay. Macbeth, the service and the loyalty I owe, in doing it pays itself. Your Highness's part is to receive our duties, and our duties are to your throne and state children and servants, which do but what they should by doing everything save toward your love and honour. Duncan, welcome hither. I have begun to plan thee, and will labour to make the fool of growing noble. Banquo, that hast no less deserved. None must be known no less to have done so. Let me enfold thee and hold thee to my heart. Banquo, there if I grow, the harvest is your own. Duncan, my plenteous joys, wanton in fullness, seek to hide themselves in drops of sorrow. Sons, kinsmen, Dennis, and you, whose places are the nearest, I know will establish our state upon our eldest Malcolm, whom we name hereafter the Prince of Cumberland, which honor must not accompany, invest him only by signs of nobleness, like stars shall shine on all deservers, from hence to Inverness and bind us further to you. Macbeth, the rest is labor which is not used for you. I'll be myself the harbinger and make joyful the hearing of my wife without reproach. So humbly take my leave, Duncan, my worthy caller. Macbeth, aside the Prince of Cumberland, that is a step on which I must fall down or else overleap. For in my way it lies, stars, hide your fires. Let not light see my black and deep desires. The eye wink at the hand, yet let that be which the eye fears when it is done to see exit. Duncan, true over the banquo, he is full so valiant, and in his commendations am fed. It is a banquet to me, let's after him whose care is gone before to bid us welcome. It is a peerless kinsman, flourish and exuberant. Scene 5, Inverness. Macbeth's castle. Enter Lady Macbeth reading a letter. Lady Macbeth, they made me in the day of success, and I have learned by the perfectest test report. They have more in them than mortal knowledge. When I burned in desire to question them further, they made themselves air, into which they vanished. Whilst I stood wrapped in the wonder of it, came missives from the king, who all hailed me Thane of Cawdor, by which title before these weed sisters saluted me, and referred me to the coming on of time with hail king that shall be. This have I thought good to deliver thee, my dearest partner of greatness, that thou mightst not lose the dues of rejoicing, by being ignorant of what greatness is promised thee late to thy heart and farewell. Glamish thou art and Cawdor, and shalt be what thou art promised, yet do I fear thy nature. It is to fool, oh, the milk of human kindness, to catch the nearest way. Thou wouldst be great, art not without ambition, but without the illness should attend it. But thou wouldst highly, that wouldst thou holily, wouldst not play false, yet wouldst wrongly win, that have great glamish. Dervish cries, thus thou must do if thou have it, and that which rather thou dost fear to do, then wishes should be undone. Heedy hither, that I may pour my spirits in thine ear, and chastise with the valor of my tongue all that impedes thee from the golden round, which fate and metaphysical aid doth seem to have thee crowned withal. Enter a messenger. What is your tidings? Messenger, the king comes here tonight. Lady Macbeth, thou art meant to say it. Is not thy master with him, who, were it so, would have informed for preparation? Messenger, so please you, it is true our Thane is coming. One of my fellows had the speed of him, who almost dead for breath, had scarcely more than would make up his message. Lady Macbeth, give him tending, he brings great news. Exit messenger. The raven himself is hoarse, that croaks the fatal entrance of Duncan under my battlements. Calm, you spirits that tend on mortal thoughts, unsex me here, and fill me from the crown to the toe, top full of direst cruelty. Make thick my blood, stop up the access and passage to remorse, that no compunctious visitings of nature shake my fell purpose. There keep peace between the effect and it. Come to my woman's breasts and take my milk for gull. You murdering ministers, wherever in your sightless substances you wait on nature's mischiefs. Come, thick night, and pall thee in the dun smoke of hell, that my keen knife see not the wound it makes. Not heaven peep through the blanket of the dark to cry, hold, hold, enter Macbeth, the great gloomy sword recorder, greater than both by the all hail hereafter. The letters have transported me beyond this ignorant present, and I feel now the future in the instant. Macbeth, my dearest love, Duncan, comes he tonight, Lady Macbeth, and when goes hence? Macbeth, tomorrow as he purposes. Lady Macbeth, oh never shall sun that morrow see your face, my dame, is as a book where men may read strange matters. To beguile thy time, look like the time, bear welcome in your eye, your hand, your tongue, look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it. He that's coming must be provided for, and you shall put this night's great business into my dispatch, which shall to all our nights and days to come give solely sovereign sway and masterdom. Macbeth will speak further, Lady Macbeth, only look up clear, to alter favour ever is to fear, leave all the rest to me. Exeunt. Scene 6. Before Macbeth's castle, hot boys and torches. Enter Duncan, Malcolm, Donovan, Banco, Lennox, Macduff, Ross, Angus and attendants. Duncan, this castle hath a pleasant seat, the air nimbly and sweetly recommends itself unto our gentle senses. Benku, this guest of summer, the temple haunting martlet does approve. By his loud mansionry, that the heaven's breath smells woundly here. No jutty, frieze, buttress, nor coin of vantage, but this bard hath made his pendant pair a bed and procreant cradle, where the most breeden haunt I have observed the air is delicate. Enter Lady Macbeth. Duncan, see, our honoured hostess, the love that follows us. Sometimes is our trouble, which still we thank as love. Herein I teach you how we shall bid God yield us for your pains, and thank us for your trouble, Lady Macbeth. All our service in every point, twice done and then done double. Were poor and single business to contend against those honours deep and broad. Horrid, your Majesty lords our house for those of old, and the late dignities heap tip to them we rest your hermits. Duncan, where is the Dane of Cawdor? We coursed him at the heels, and had a purpose to be his purveyor, but he rides well, and his great love, sharp as his spar, hath holp him to his home before us. Fair and noble hostess, we are your guests tonight, Lady Macbeth. Your servants ever have theirs themselves, and what is theirs in compt to make their audit at your highness's pleasure, still to return your own. Duncan, give me your hand, conduct me to mine host. We love him highly, and shall continue our graces towards him. By your leave, hostess. Exeunt. Scene 7. Macbeth's castle, hot boys and torches. Enter a sewer and divers servants with dishes and service, and pass over the stage. Then enter Macbeth. Macbeth, if it were done when it's done, then 'twere well. If I were done quickly, if the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch up with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all and end-all here. But here, upon this bank and shore of time, will jump the life to come. But in these cases, we still have judgment here. That we but teach blood instructions, which, being taught, return to plague the inventor. This even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poison chalice to our own lips. Here he in double trust. First, as I am his kinsman and his subject, strong both against the deed, then as his host, who should again his murderer shudder, not bear the knife myself. Besides, this Duncan hath borne his faculties so meek, hath been so clear in his great office, that his virtues will plead like angels, trumpet-tongued, against the deep damnation of his taking up, and pity like a naked newborn baby, studying the blast or heaven's cherubim, horsed upon the subtlest couriers of the air, shall blow the horrid dead in every eye. The tears shall drown the wind. I have no spar to prick the sights of my intent, but only vaulting ambition, which overleaps itself and falls on the other. Enter Lady Macbeth. How now? What news, Lady Macbeth? He has almost supped. Why have you left the chamber? Macbeth, heavy. As for me, Lady Macbeth, no, you not. He has. Macbeth will proceed no further in his business. He has honored me of late, and I have bought golden opinions from all sorts of people, which would be worn now in the newest gloss. Not cast aside so soon, Lady Macbeth, was the hope drunk, wherein you dressed yourself has it slept since, and waxed now to look so green and paid at what he did so freely from this time. Such I account thy love, or thou appeared to be the same in thine own act and valor as thou art in desire. Wouldst thou have that which thou esteemest the ornament of life, and live a coward in thine own esteem, letting I dare not wait upon my word, like the poor cat eat the adage. Macbeth, prithee peace, I dare do all that may become a man. Who dares do more is none. Lady Macbeth, was it then that made you break this enterprise to me? When you does do it, then you are a man, and to be more than what you were, you would be so much more the man. Not time nor place did then adhere, and yet you would make them both. They have made themselves, and that their fitness now does unmake you. I have given suck, and know how tender 'tis to love the babe that milks me. I would, but it was smiling in my face, have plucked my nipple from his boneless gums and dashed the brains out. Had I so sown as you have done to this Macbeth, if we should fail? Lady Macbeth, we fail, but screw your courage to this ticking place, and will not fail when Duncan is asleep. Why to the rather shall his day's hard journey should invite him his two chamberlains will I with wine and wassail, so convince that memory, the water of the brain, shall be a fume and the receipt of reason, a limbeck only, when in swinish sleep the drenched natures lie as in a death. What can yet you and I perform upon the unguarded Duncan? What not put upon his spongy officers, who shall bear the guilt of our great quail? Macbeth, bring forth men children only, for thy undaunted metal should compose nothing but males. Will it not be received when we are marked with blood, those sleepy too, of his own chamber, and use their very own daggers? That they have done it, Lady Macbeth, who dares receive it other, as we shall make a griefs and clamour roar upon his death. Macbeth, I am settled and bend up. Each corporal agent to this terrible feat, away and mock the time with fairest show. False face must hide what the false heart doth know. Exeunt. Act 2, Scene 1, Court of Macbeth's castle. Enter Banquo and Fleance, bearing a torch before him. Banquo, how goes the night, boy? Fleance, the moon is down. I have not heard the clock. Banquo, and she goes down at 12. Fleance, I take this letter, sir. Banquo, hold, take my sword. There is husbandry in heaven. Their candles are all out. Take thee that too. A heavy summons lies like lead upon me, and yet I would not sleep. Merciful powers restrain in me the cursed thoughts that nature gives way to in repose. Enter Macbeth, and a servant with a torch give me my sword. Who's there, Macbeth? A friend. Banquo, what, sir? Not yet at rest. The king's abed. He hath been in unusual pleasure, and sent forth great largesse to your offices. This demon he greets your wife, withal, by the name of most kind hostess, and shut up in measureless content. Macbeth, being unprepared, our will became the servant to defect, which else should free have wrought. Banquo, all is well. I dreamt last night of the three weird sisters. To you they have showed some truth, Macbeth, I think not of them. Yet when we can entreat an hour to serve, we would spend it in some words upon that business, if you would grant the time. Banquo, at your kindest leisure. Macbeth, if you shall cleave to my consent, it shall make honor for you, Banquo, so I lose none in seeking to augment it, but still keep my bosom franchised and elegance clear. I shall be counselled, Macbeth. Good repose the while, Banquo. Thanks are I like to you, Bexod, Banquo, and Fleance. Macbeth, go beat thy mistress. When my drink is ready, she strike upon the bell, get thee to bed, exit servant. Is this a dagger which I see before me, the handle toward my hand? Come, let me clutch thee, I have thee not, and yet I see thee still. Art thou not fatal vision, sensible to fillingness to sight? Or art thou but a dagger of the mind, a false creation, proceeding from the heat oppressed brain? I see thee yet in form as palpable as this which now I draw. Thou marshalst me the way that I was going, and such an instrument I was to use. Mine eyes are made the fools of the other senses, or else what? All the rest I see thee still, and on thy blade and dudgeon gouts of blood, which was not so before. There is no such thing. It is the bloody business which informs thus to mine eyes. Now o'er the man hurled, nature seems dead, and wicked dreams abuse. The curtained sleep witchcraft celebrates, pale Hecate's offerings, and withered murdered, alarmed by his sentinel the wolf, who howls his watch. Thus with his stealthy pace, with Turkins ravaging strides towards his design, moves like a ghost. The sure and firm set earth, hear not my steps, which way they walk, for fear thy very stones spread of my whereabout, and take the present horror from the time which now sues with it. Whilst I threat, he leaps, wards to the heat of deeds too. Cold breath gives a bell, rings I go, and it is done. The bell invites me. Hear it not, Banquo, the Duncan, for it is an knell that summons thee to heaven or to hell. Exits into the same. Enter Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth, that which hath made them drunk hath made me bored. What hath quenched them hath given me fire. Hark, peace! It was the owl that shrieked, the fatal bellman, which gapes the stunned good night. He is about it, the doors are open, and the surfeited grooms do mock their charge with snore. I have drugged their possets, that death and nature do contend about them, whether they live or die. Macbeth, within who's there, what ho! Lady Macbeth, luck! I'm afraid they have occurred, and start done the attempt and not the deed. Confounds us, Horrick. I laid their daggers ready, he could not miss him. Had he not resembled my father as he slept, I had done it. Enter Macbeth, my husband. Macbeth, I have done the deed. Didst thou not hear a noise? Lady Macbeth, I heard the owl scream and the crickets cry. Did not you speak, Macbeth, when? Lady Macbeth, now, Macbeth, as I descended. Lady Macbeth, I, Macbeth, hark, whose lies the second chamber. Lady Macbeth, Donalban, Macbeth, this is a sorry sight, looking on his hands. Lady Macbeth, a foolish thought to say sorry sight. Macbeth, there is one did laugh in sleep, and one cried murder. That they did wake each other, I stood and heard him. But they did say their prayers and dress them again to sleep. Lady Macbeth, they are two lodged together. Macbeth, one cried, God bless us, and amen the other, as they had seen me with these hangman's hands. Listening their fear, I could not say amen. When they did say, God bless us, Lady Macbeth considered it not so deeply, Macbeth. But wherefore could I not pronounce amen? I had most need of blessing and amen stuck in my throat. Lady Macbeth, these must not be thought after this wish, so it will make us mad. Macbeth, methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth, does murder sleep? The innocent sleep, sleep, that knits up the rebelled sleep of care. The death of each day's life, sore labor's bath, balm of heart mind, great nature, second course, chief nourisher in life's feast. Lady Macbeth, what do you mean? Macbeth, silly cried, sleep no more to all the house. Glamis hath murdered sleep and therefore Cawdor. She'll sleep no more, Macbeth, shall sleep no more, Lady Macbeth. Was it that thus crowd cried? Why were they then? You do unbend your noble strength to think so brain-sickly of things. Go get some water and wash this filthy witness from your hand. Why do you bring these daggers from the place? They must lie there, go carry them and smear the sleepy grooms with blood. Macbeth, I'll go no more. I'm afraid to think what I've done. Look on it again, I dare not. Lady Macbeth, in form of purpose, give me the daggers. The sleeping and the dead are but as pictures. 'Tis the eye of childhood that fears a painted devil. If he do bleed, if gild the faces of the grooms withal, for it must seem their guilt exit knocking within. Macbeth, whence is that knocking? How is it with me when every noise appalls me? What hands are here? Ha! They pluck out mine eyes. Will all great Neptune's ocean wash this blood clean from my hand? No, this my hand will rather the multitude now seize in incarnadine, making the green one red. Re-enter, Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth, my hands are of your colour, but I shame to wear a heart so wide. Knocking within, I hear a knocking at the south entry. Retire we to our chamber. A little water clears us of this deed. How is it then? Your constancy hath left you unattended. Knocking within, hark, moan knocking on your nightgown, lest occasion call us and show us to be watchers. Be not lost so poorly in your thoughts, Macbeth, to know my deed. To best not know myself. Knocking within, wake Duncan. With thy knocking would thou couldst exeunt sin 3 the same. Knocking within, enter a porter. Porter, here is a knocking indeed. If a man were porter of Hellgate, he should have all turning the key. Knocking within, knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Ida, name of Beelzebub. Here is a farmer that hanged himself on the expectation of plenty. Come in time, have napkins enow about you here. You will sweat for it. Knocking within, knock, knock. Who's there in the other devil's name? Faith, here is an incubator that could swear in both the scales against either scale, who committed treason enough for God's sake, yet could not equate to heaven. Oh, come in, incubator. Knocking within, knock, knock, knock. Who's there? Faith, here is an English tailor, come hither. For stealing out of a French horse, come in, tailor. Here you may roast your goose. Knocking within, knock, knock. Never at quiet. What are you? But this place is too cold. For hell I'll devil powder it no further. I had thought to have let in some of all professions that go the primrose way to the everlasting bonfire. Knocking within, anon, anon. I pray you remember, the porter opens the gate. Enter Macduff and Lennox. Macduff, was it so late, friend? Ere you went to bed, that you do lie so late? Porter, faith, sir, we were carousing till the second cock. And drink, sir, is a great provoker of 3 things. Macduff, what 3 things does drink especially provoke? Porter, merry, sir, no spending, sleep, and urine. Lechery, sir, it provokes and unprovokes. It provokes the desire, but it takes away the performance. Therefore, much drink may be said to be an incubator with lechery. It makes him, it mars him, it sets him on, it takes him off, it persuades him, it disheartens him, makes him stand to and not stand to. In conclusion, evacuates him in a sleep and giving him the lie leaves him. Macduff, I believe drink gave thee the lie last night. Porter, that it did, sir, he, the very throat on me. But I requited him for his lie, and I think being too strong for him, though he took up my legs sometime, yet I made a shift to cast him. Macduff, is thy master stirring? And our Macbeth, our knocking has awaked him. Here he comes. Lennox, good morrow, noble sir. Macbeth, good morrow, both. Macduff, is the king stirring, worthy dame? Macbeth, not yet, Macduff. He did command me to call timely on him. I have almost slipped the hour. Macbeth, I'll bring you to him, Macduff. I know this is a joyful trouble to you, but yet 'tis one. Macbeth, the labor we delight in physics, pain, this is the door, Macduff. I'll make so bold to call. For 'tis my limited service, exit Linux. Goes the king hence today. Macbeth, he did appoint so Linux. The night had been unruly where we lay, our chimneys were blown down, and as they say, lamentings heard in the air. Strange screams of death, and prophesying with accents terrible of dire combustion, and confused events new, hatched to the woeful time, the obscure bird clamoured. The livelong night, some say the earth was furious and did shake. Macbeth, 'twas a rough night. Lennox, my young remembrance cannot parallel a fellow to it. Re-enter Macduff, oh horror, horror, horror. Tongue nor heart cannot conceive nor name thee. Macbeth, Lennox, what's the matter? Macduff, confusion now hath made his masterpiece most sacrilegious. Murder hath broke ope the Lord anointed temple and stole then the life. Oh, the building! Macbeth, what is't? You say the life. Lennox, mean you his majesty? Macduff, approach the chamber and destroy your sight with a new gorgon. Do not bid me speak. See, and then speak yourselves. Exeunt. Macbeth and Lennox, awake, awake. Ring the alarm bell, murder and treason. Banquo and Donalbain, Malcolm, awake. Shake off this downy sleep, death's counterfeit, and look on death itself. Up, up, and see the great doom's image, Malcolm, Banquo. As from your graves rise up and walk like sprites to countenance this horror. Ring the bell, bell rings, enter Lady Macbeth. Lady Macbeth, what's the business? There's such a hideous trumpet calls to parley. The slippers of the house. Speak, speak. Macduff, oh gentle lady, 'tis not for you to hear what I can speak. The repetition in a woman's ear would murder as it fell under Banquo, Banquo, Banquo. Our royal masters murdered Lady Macbeth. Who, alas, what, in our house? Banquo, too cruel anywhere, dear Duff. Prithee, contradict thyself, and say it is not so. Re-enter Macbeth and Lennox with Ross. Macbeth, had I but died an hour before this chance, I had lived a blessed time, for from this instant there is nothing serious in mortality. All is but choice, renown, and grace is dead. The wine of life is drawn, and the mere lease is left. This world to brag of. Enter Malcolm and Donalbain. What is amiss? Macbeth, you are, and do not know it. The spring, the head, the fountain of your blood is stopped, the very source of it is stopped. Macduff, your royal fathers murdered. Malcolm, woe, by whom? Lennox, those of his chamber, as it seemed, had done it. Their hands and faces were embashed with blood. So were their daggers, which unwiped we found upon their pillows. They stared and were distracted. No man's life was to be trusted with them. Macbeth, oh yet I do repent me of my fury that I did kill them. Macduff, wherefore did you so? Macbeth, who can be wise, amazed, temperate, and furious, loyal and neutral in a moment? No man. The expedition, my violent love, out round the pozar, see, reason, here lay Duncan, his silver skin laced with his golden blood, and his gashed steps looked like a breach in nature, for ruins wasteful and trance. There the murderers, steeped in the colours of their trade, their daggers unmannerly breached with gore. Who could refrain? There had a heart to love, and neither heart courage to make love known. Lady Macbeth, help me hence. Oh, Macduff, look to the lady. Malcolm, aside to Donalbain. Why do we hold our tongue that most may claim this argument for ours? Donalbain, aside to Malcolm, what should be spoken here? Where is our fate? Hid in an auger hole, may rush and seize us. There's away, our tears are not yet brewed. Malcolm answered to Donalbain, not our strong sorrow upon the foot of motion. Banquo, look to the ready. Lady Macbeth is carried out, and when we have our naked frailties, he that suffer in exposure, let us meet and question this most bloody piece of work to know it further. Here, since scruples shake us in the great hand of God, I stand thence against the undivulged pretense, a fight of treasonous malice, Macduff. And so do I also, all Macbeth. Let's briefly put on manly readiness and meet the hall together, all well contended, exeunt all but Malcolm and Donalbain. Malcolm, what will you do? Let's not consort with them. To show an unfelt sorrow is an office which the false man does easy. I'll to England, Donalbain to Ireland. I have separated fortune shall keep us both the safer. Where we are, there's dagger in men's minds, the near in blood, the nearer bloody. Malcolm, this murderous shaft, their shot, hath not yet lighted, and our safest way is to bid the aim their foot to horse, and let us not be dainty of lift taking, but shift away. There is warren in that theft which steals itself, when there is no mercy left. Exeunt. Scene 5, outside Macbeth's castle, enter Ross and an old man. Old man. 70 I can remember well, within the volume of which time I have seen hours dreadful and things strange. But this sword knight hath trifled for my knowings. Ross, good father, thou seest the heavens as troubled with man's act, threaten his bloody stage by the clocktish day, and yet dark night strangles the troubling lamp east. Night's predominance or the death shame that darkness does the face of our entomb, when living light should kiss it. Old man, 'tis unnatural, even like the deed that's done. On Tuesday last, a falcon towering in her pride of place was by a mousing owl hawked at and killed. Ross and Duncan's horses, a thing most strange and certain, because and swift, the minions of the race turned wild in nature, broke their stalls, flung out, contending against obedience, as they would make war with mankind. Old man, they say they eat each other. Ross, they did so to the amazement of mine eye that looked upon it. Here comes the good Macduff. Enter Macduff. How goes the waltzer now, Macduff? Why, see you not, Ross? Is it known who did this more than bloody deed, Macduff? Those that Macbeth has slain. Ross, alas, the day. What good could they pretend, Macduff? They were suborned. Malcolm and Donalbain, the king's two sons, are stolen away and fled, which puts upon them suspicion of the deed. Ross, against nature's sheer thriftless ambition, that will ruin her. Thine own life's means, then 'tis most like the sovereignty will fall upon Macbeth. Macduff, he is already named, gone to Scone to be invested. Ross, where is Duncan's body, Macduff? Carried to Cornkill, the sacred storehouse of his predecessors and guardian of their bones. Ross, will you to Scone? Macduff, no cousin, all to Fife. Ross, well, I will thither. Macduff, well, may you see things well done there. Adieu. Lest our old robes sit easier than our new. Ross, farewell, father. Old man gods, benison go with you, and with those that would make good of bad and friend of foes. Exeunt. Act 3, Scene 1, Forest, the palace. Enter Banquo. Banquo, thou hast it now, King. Cowder, Glamis, old as the weird women promised, I fear. Thou playest most foully for it, yet it was said it should not stand in thy posterity, but that myself should be the root and father of many kings, if there come truth from them as upon thee. Macbeth, as pictures shine, why by the verities on thee made good. May they not be my oracles as well, and set me up in hope? But hush, the more senate sounded. Enter Macbeth. As King, Lady Macbeth, as Queen, Lennox, Ross, lords, ladies, and attendants. Macbeth, here is our chief guest, Lady Macbeth. If he had been forgotten, it had been as a gap in our great feast, and all thing unbecoming. Macbeth, tonight we hold a solemn supper, sir. And now recourse to your presence, Banquo, let your highness command upon me, to which my duties are with a most indissoluble tie for every need. Macbeth, ride you this afternoon, Banquo? My good lord Macbeth, we should have else desired your good advice, which still have been both grave and prosperous in this day's council, but will take tomorrow is for you right, Banco, as for my lord, as will fill up the time twixt this and supper. Go not my horse the better. I must become a borrower of the knife for a dark hour or twain. Macbeth, fail not our fees. Banco, my lord, I will not Macbeth. We hear our bloody cousins are bestowed in England and in Ireland, not confessing their cruel parricide, filling their hearers with strange invention. But of that tomorrow, when therewithal we shall have cause of state, craving us jointly, he you to horse, adieu. Till you return at night, ghost flames with you, Banco. Aye, my good lord, our time does call upon us. Macbeth, I wish your horses swift and sure of foot, and so I do command you to take their backs. Farewell, exit Banco. Let every man be master of his time till 7 at night to make society the sweeter welcome. We'll keep ourselves till supper time alone. While then, God be with you, exhumed all but Macbeth and an attendant, Sirrah. A word with you, attend. Those men, our pleasure, attendant. They are, my lord, without the palace gate. Macbeth, bring them before us, exit, attendant to be. Thus is nothing but to be safely thus. Our fair Saint Banco, stick deep, and his royalty of nature reigns that which will be feared. 'Tis much he dares, and to that dauntless temper of his mind he hath a wisdom that thou guide his valor to act in safety. There is none but he, whose being I do fear, and under him my genius is rebuked. As it is said, Mark Antonius was by Caesar. He chid the sisters when first they put the name of king upon me, and bade them speak to him then prophet like. They held him father to a line of kings upon my head. They placed a fruitless crown and put a barren sceptre in my gripe, thence to be wrenched with an unlineal hand, no son of mine succeeding, if it be so. For Banco's issue have I filed my mind. For them, the gracious Duncan have I murdered, put rancours in the vessel of my peace. Only for them and mine eternal jewel given to the common enemy of man, to make them kings, the seed of Bengal kings. Rather than so, come fate into the list, and champion me to the utterance whose there. Enter attendant with 2 murderers. Now go to the door and stay there till we called exit attendant. Was it not yesterday we spoke together, first murderer? It was, so please your highness. Macbeth, well then now, have you considered of my speeches? No, that it was he in the times past which held you so under fortune, which you thought had been our innocent self. This I made good to you in our last conference, passed in probation with you, how you were borne in hand, how crossed the instruments, who wrought with them, and all things else that might to half a soul and to a notion crazed say. Thus did Banco, first murderer, you made it known to us, Macbeth. I did so and went further, which is now our point of second meeting. Do you find your patience so predominant in your nature that you can let this go? Are you so gospelled to pray for this good man and for his issue, whose heavy hand hath bowed you to the grave and beggared you forever? First murderer, we are men, my liege. Macbeth, in the catalogue you go for men, as hounds and greyhounds, mongrels, spaniels, curs, shows, murder rugs and demi-wolves are clept, all by the name of dogs. The valued fire distinguishes the swift, the slow, the subtle, the housekeeper, the hunter, every one according to the gift which bounteous nature hath in him closed, whereby he does receive particular addition from the bill that writes them all alike. And so of men, now if you have station in the file, nor is the worst rank of manhood set, and I'll put that prisoner in your bosoms, whose execution takes your enemy off, repels you to the heart and love of us, who were our health, but sickly in his life, which in his death were perfect. Second murderer, I am one, my liege, whom the vile blows and buffets of the world have so incensed that I am reckless what I do to spite the world. First murderer, and I another who so very would disaster tug it with fortune that I would set my lie on any chance to mend it or be rid on it. Macbeth, both of you know Banquo was your enemy, both murderers true, my lord. Macbeth, so he is mine, and in such bloody distance that every minute of his being thrust against my nearest of life, and though I could with barefaced power sweep him from my sight, and bid my will avouch in it, yet I must not. For certain friends that are both his and mine, whose loves I may not drop, but will his fail, who myself struck down in whence it is, that I to your assistance to make love, asking the business from the common life for sundry weighty reasons. Second murderer, we shall, my lord, perform what you command us. First murderer, though our life, Macbeth, your spirit shine through you within this hour at most, I will advise you where to plant yourselves, acquaint you with the perfect spy all the time, the moment on it, for it must be done tonight, and something from the place. Always thought that I required a clearness, and with him to leave no rubs, no botches in the work. Flint's his son that keeps him company, whose absence is no less material to me than is his father's. Must embrace the fate of the dark hour. Resolve yourselves apart. I'll come to you anon. Both murderers were resolved, my lord. Macbeth, I'll call upon you straight. Abide within. Exeunt murderers. It is concluded, Banquo, thy soul's flight, if it find heaven, must find it out tonight. Exit. The scene to the palace. Enter Lady Macbeth and servant Lady Macbeth. Is Banquo gone from court, servant? Aye, madam, but returns again tonight. Lady Macbeth said to the king, I would attend his leisure for a few words. Servant, madam, I will exit. Lady Macbeth, not sad, all spent. Where our desire is got without content, 'tis safer to be that which we destroy than but destruction dwell in doubtful joy. Enter Macbeth. How now, my lord? Why do you keep alone of sorriest fancies your companions making, using those thoughts which should indeed have died? With them they think on things without all remedy should be without regard. What is done is done. Macbeth, we have scotched the snake nor killed it. She'll close and be herself, whilst her poor malice remains in danger of her former tooth. But let the frame of things disjoint, both the walls suffer. Here we'll eat our meal in fear and sleep, in the affliction of these terrible dreams that shake us nightly. Better be with the dead, whom we to gain our peace have sent to peace, than on the torture of the mind to lie in restless ecstasy. Duncan is in his grave after life's fitful fever. He sleeps well. Treason has done his worst, not steel nor poison, malice, domestic, foreign levy. Nothing can touch him further. Lady Macbeth, come on, gentle my lord, sleek o'er your rugged looks. Be bright and jovial among your guests tonight, Macbeth, so shall I love, and so I pray you be you. Let your remembrance apply to Bank. Present him eminence both with eye and tongue, and save the while that we must lave our honors in these flattering streams, and make our faces wizards to our hearts, disguising what they are. Lady Macbeth, you must leave this. Macbeth, full of scorpions, is my mind, dear wife, thou knowest. The Banquo and his flanks lives Lady Macbeth, but in them nature's coppice not return. Macbeth, discomfort yet, they're assailable, then be thou jocund. Ere the bat hath flown his clustered flight, ere to black Hecate summons the shard-born beetle, with his drowsy hums hath rung night's yawning peal, there shall be done a deed of dreadful. No, Lady Macbeth was to be done. Macbeth, innocent of the knowledge, dearest Chuck, till thou applaud the deed, come ceiling night. Scarf up the tender eye of pitiful day, and with the bloody and invisible hand cancel and tear to pieces that great light thickens, and the crow make wing to the rooky wood. Good things of day begin to droop and drowse, while night's black agents to their praise do rouse. Thou marvellest at my words, but hold thee still. Things bad begun make strong themselves by ill. So prithee, go with me, exeunt. Scene 3. A park near the palace, enter 3 murderers. First murderer, but who did bid thee join with us? Third murderer, Macbeth. Second murderer, he needs not our mistrust, since he delivers our offices and what we have to do to the direction just. First murderer, they stand with us. The west yet glimmers with some streaks of day. Now spurs the lated traveller apace to gain the timely in, and near approaches the subject of our watch. Third murderer, hark, I hear horses. Banco, within, give us a light there, ho. Second murderer, then, 'tis he, the rest that are within the note of expectation already are i' the court. First murderer, his horses go about. Third murderer, almost a mile, but he does usually. So all men do from hence to the palace gate, make it their walk. Second murderer, a light, enter Banco and fleance with a torch. Third murderer, 'tis he. First murderer, stand to it, Banco, it will be rain tonight. First murderer, let it come down. They set upon Banco. Banco of treachery, fly, good flints, fly, thou mayst revenge your slave, dies, fleance escapes. Third murderer, who did strike out the light? First murderer, was not the way. Third murderer, there is but one down, the sun is fled. Second murderer, we have lost base half of our affair. First murderer, well, lace away and say, how much is done, exeunt. Scene 4. The same hall in the palace. A banquet prepared. Enter Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, Ross, Lennox, lords and attendants. Macbeth, you know your own degrees. Sit down at first and last the hearty welcome. Lords, thanks to your majesty. Macbeth ourselves will mingle with society and play the humble host or hostess keeps her state, but in best time will recover her welcome. Lady Macbeth, pronounce it for me, sir, to other friends, for my heart speaks their welcome. First murderer appears at the door. Macbeth, see, they encounter thee with their hearts' thanks. Both sides are even here. All seed ye the meetest. Be large in mirth. Anon will drink a measure that revel round. Approaching the door, there is blood on thy face. First murderer, 'tis Banquo's then. Macbeth, 'tis better thee without. Then he within is dispatched. First murderer, my lord, his throat is cut. That I did for him, Macbeth. Thou art the best. Oh, the cutthroats, yet he is good. That did the like for fleance. If thou didst it, thou art the nonpareil. First murderer, most royal sir, fleance is kept. Macbeth, then comes my feet again. I had. It has been perfect, whole as the marble, founded as the rock, as broad and general as the casing air. But now I'm cabined, cribbed, confined, bound into such saucy doubts and fears. But Banquo's safe. First murderer, yea, my good lord, safe in a ditch he bides, with 20 trench gashes on his hand, the least dead to nature. Macbeth, thanks for that. There is the grown serpent lies, the worms that's fled. Hath nature that in time will venom breed, no teeth for the present get thee gone. Tomorrow we'll hear ourselves again. Exit murderer, Lady Macbeth, my royal lord. You do not give the cheer, the feast is sold. That is not often vouched, while 'tis a making. 'Tis given with welcome to feed. were the best at home. From thence the sauce to meet is ceremony meeting, bear without it, Macbeth, sweet remembrance, sir. Now good digestion, wait on appetite and health on board. Lennox, mate, please your highness sit. The ghost of Banquo enters and sits in Macbeth's place. Macbeth, here had we now our country's honoured roofed, were the graced person of our Banquo present, who may rather challenge for unkindness than pity for mischance. Ross his absence, sir. Let's blame upon his promise. Please, dear highness, to grace us with your loyal company. Macbeth, the table's full. Lennox, here is a place reserved, sir. Macbeth, where Lennox? Here is my good lord. What is that moves your highness? Macbeth, which of you have done this, lords? What, my good lord? Macbeth, thou canst not say but did. Never shake the gory locks at me, Ross, gentlemen, rise. His highness is not well, Lady Macbeth. Sit what the friends, my lord is open thus, and hath been from his youth. Pray you keep sit. The fit is momentary. Upon a thought he will again be well. If much you note him, you shall offend him, and extend his passion, feed and regard him not. Are you a man, Macbeth? I a bold honor that dare look on that which might appall the devil, Lady Macbeth, O proper staff. This is a very painting of your fear. This is the ear-drawn dagger which you said led you to Duncan. Oh, these flaws and stirs impostors to true fear. Would well become a woman's story at a winter's fire, authorized by her grandam. Shame itself. Why do you make such faces when it's done? You look but on a stool. Macbeth, prithee see there, behold, look low, how say you, why? What care I? If thou canst not speak to, if charnel houses and our graves must send those that we bury back our monuments, shall be the maws of kites, ghost of Banquo vanishes. Lady Macbeth, what quite unmanned in folly. Macbeth, if I stand here, I saw him, Lady Macbeth, fee for shame. Macbeth, blood hath been shed ere now, the olden time, ere human statute purged the gentle will. Aye, and since 2 murders have been performed, too terrible for the year, the times have been that when the brains were out, the man would die and there an end. But now they rise again with 20 mortal murders on their crowns and push us from our stools. This is more strange than such a murder is. Lady Macbeth, my word, the Lord, your noble friends do like you. Macbeth, I do forget. Do not muse at me, my most worthy friends. I have a strange infirmity, which is nothing to those that know me. Come, laugh, and hail to all. There I'll sit down, give me some wine, feel full, I drink to the general joy. Oh, the whole table, and to our dear friend Bank, whom we miss. Would he were here to all and him. We thirst and all to all lords our duties, and the pledge re-enter ghost of Banquo. Macbeth, avaunt, and quit my sight. Let the earth hide thee, thy bones are marrowless, thy blood is cold, thou hast no speculation on those eyes which thou dost glare with. Macbeth, Lady Macbeth, think of this, good peers, but as a thing of custom, 'tis no other, only it spoils the pleasure of the time. Macbeth, what man dare I dare approach? Thou like the rugged Russian bear, the armed rhinoceros, or the Harkan tiger. Take any shape but that, my farm nards shall never tremble or be alive again, and dare me to the desert with thy sword. If trembling I inhabit, then protest me, the baby of a girl. Hence, horrible shadow, unreal mockery, hence. Ghost of Banquo vanishes. Why so being gone? I'm a man again. Pray you sit still. Lady Macbeth, you have displaced the mirth, broke the good meeting with most admired disorder. Macbeth, can such things be and overcome us like a summer's cloud without our special wonder? You make me strange even to the disposition that I owe, and when now I think you can behold such sights and keep the natural ruby of your cheeks, which mine, when mine is blanched with fear, Ross, what sights, my lord? Lady Macbeth, I pray you speak not. He grows worse and worse. Question enrages him at once. Good night, stand not upon the order of your going, but go at once, Lennox. Good night and better health, and his majesty, Lady Macbeth. Good night to all, exeunt but all, Macbeth and Lady Macbeth. Macbeth, you will have blood. They say blood will have blood. Stones have been known to move and trees to speak. Augurs and understood relations have by maggot pies and chows, and the rooks brought forth the secretest man of blood. What is the night, Lady Macbeth? Almost at what's the morning? Which is which? Macbeth, how sayest thou that Macduff denies this his person at our great bidding? Lady Macbeth, did you send to him, Sir Macbeth? I hear it, by the way, but I'll send. There is not a one of them, but in his house I keep a servant. Feed our tomorrow, and betimes I will to the weird sisters, more shall they speak, for now I am bent to know. But the wars means the wars for mine own good, all causes shall give away. I'm in blood, stepped in so far that should I wait no more, returning where as tedious as go o'er. Strange things I have in head, that will to a hand which must be acted ere they must be scanned. Lady Macbeth, you lack the season of all nature, sleep. Macbeth, come, will to sleep. My strange and self-abuse is the initiate fear that once heard use. We are yet but young indeed. Exeunt in 5 a heath. Thunder, enter the 3 witches meeting Hecate. First witch, why? How now, Hecate? You look angeredly. Hecate, have I not risen bedlams as you are, saucy and overbold? How did you dare to trade and traffic with Macbeth in riddles, in affairs of death, and I, the mistress of your charms, the close contriver of our harms, was never called to bear my part or show the glory of our art? And which is worse, all you have done hath been but for a wayward son, spiteful and wrathful, who, as others do, loves for his own ends, not for you. But make amends now, get you gone, and at the pit of Acheron meet me either morning, thither he will come to know his destiny. Your vessels and your spells provide, your charms and everything beside. I am for the air, this night I will spend unto a dismal and a fatal end. Great business might be brought ere noon. Upon the corner of the moon there hangs a vaporous drop profound. I'll catch it ere it come to ground, and that distilled by magic slits shall raise such artificial sprites as by the strength of their illusion shall draw him on this to his confusion. He shall spurn fate, scorn death, and bear he hopes, bow, wisdom, grace, and fear. And you all know security is mortal's chiefest enemy. Music and song within, come away, come away. Hark, I am called, my little spirit sees in a foggy cloud and stays for me exit. First witch, come, let's make haste, she will be back again. Exeunt. Scene 6, Forest, the palace, enter Lennox and another lord. Lennox, my former speeches have but hit your thoughts, which can interpret farther only. I say things have been strangely born. The gracious Duncan was pitied of Macbeth, Mary he was dead. The right valiant Banquo walked too late, whom you may say, if it pleases you, Flint's killed, for Flint's fled. Man must not walk too late, who cannot won the thought how monstrous it was for Malcolm and for Donalbain to kill their gracious father. Damn fact, how it did grieve Macbeth, leaner straight in pious rage, the 2 delinquents tear that were the slaves of drink and thralls of sleep. Was not that nobly done? Aye, and wisely too, for 'twould have angered any heart alive to hear the man denied. So that I say, he has borne all things well, and I do think that had he Duncan's sons under his key, as an't please heaven, he shall not, they should find what 'twere to kill a father who should flinch, but peace for from broad wars and cause he failed his presence at the tyrant's feast. I hear Macduff lives in disgrace, sir, can you tell where he bestows himself? Lord, the son of Duncan, from whom this tyrant holds the due of birth, lives in the English court and is received of the most pious Edward with such grace that the malevolence of fortune nothing takes from his high respect. Thither Macduff is gone to pray the holy king, upon he this array to wake Northumberland and warlike Seward, that by the help of these with him above to ratify the work, we may again give to our tables meat, sleep to our nights, free from our feasts, and banquets, bloody knives, do faithful homage, receive free honors, all which we pine for now, and this report hath so exasperate the king that he prepares for some attempt of war. Lennox sent he to Macduff, Lord he did. And with an absolute, sir, not I, the cloudy messenger turns me his back and hums as who should say you'll rue the time that clogs me with this answer. Lennox and that well might advise him to a caution to hold, but distance his wisdom can provide some holy angel. Fly to the court of England and unfold his message. Ere he come, that his sweet blessing may soon return to this our suffering country under a hand accursed. Lord, I'll send my prayers with him exeunt. Act 4, Scene 1. A cavern in the middle, a boiling cauldron. Thunder entered the three witches, first which thrice the branded cat hath moved, second which thrice and once the hedge pig whined, third which harpier cries, 'tis time, 'tis time, first which round about the cauldron go in the poison entrails, throw toad there under cold stone days and nights at 31, sheltered venom sleeping guard, boil the first either charm pot, all double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Second which, fillet of a finish snake, in the cauldron boil and bay, eye of a newt and toe of a frog, wool of a bat and tongue of a dog. Adder's fork and blind one sting, lizard's lake and owlet's swing, for a charm of powerful trouble, like a hell broth boil and bubble, all double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Third which, scale of dragon to the wolf, witch's mummy, maw and gulf of the rabid salt sea shark, root of hemlock digged, either dark, liver of blaspheming Jew, gull of gut and slips of ooh, silvered in the moon's eclipse, nose of Turk and Tutter's lips, finger of butt strangled babe, dish delivered by a drab, make the gruel thick and slab, and thereto a tiger's children for the ingredients of our cauldron. All double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. Second which could eat with baboon's blood, then the charm is firm and good. Enter Hecate to the other three witches. Hecate, oh well done, I commend your pains, and everyone shall share either gains. And now about the cauldron sing, like elves and fairies in a ring, enchanting all that you put in. Music and a song, black spirits and Hecate reader stricken witch, by the pricking of my thumb something wicked this way comes. Open locks, whoever knocks enter Macbeth, how now you secret black and midnight hag, what is't you do all a deed without a name, I Macbeth I conjure you, by that which you profess, however you come to know it, answer me, though you untie the winds and let them fight against the churches, though the yeasty waves confound and swallow navigation up, though bladed corn be lodged and trees blown down, though castles topple on their warders' heads, though palaces and pyramids do slope their heads to their foundations, though the treasure of nature germans tumble altogether, even till destruction, second answer me to what I ask you, first which speak, second which demand, third which will answer, first which say if thou'st rather hear it from our mouths or from our masters. Macbeth, call him, let me see him. First which pour in sow's bloods that hath eaten her 9 farrow, grease that swidden from the murderous gibbet throw into the flame, all come high or low thyself, and of his deftly show thunder first apparition and armed head. Macbeth, tell me thou unknown power, first which he knows thy thought. Hear his speech, but say thou not. First apparition, Macbeth, beware Macduff, beware the Thane of Fife. Dismiss me enough, descends Macbeth. Whatever thou art for thy good caution, thanks, thou hast harped my fear aright. But one word more, first which he will not be commanded. Here is another more potent than the first thunder. Second apparition, bloody child. Second apparition, Macbeth. Had I 3 years, I'll hear thee. Second apparition, be bloody, bold and resolute. Love to scorn the power of man, for none of women born shall harm Macbeth. Descends Macbeth, then leave Macduff. What need I fear of thee? Yet I will make assurance double sure, and take a bond of fate. Thou shalt not live, that I may tell pale-hearted fear it lies, and sleep in spite of thunder. Thunder, third apparition, a child crowned with a tree in his hand. What is this that rises like the issue of a king? Wears upon his baby brow the round and top of sovereignty. All listen but speak not to it. Third apparition, be lion mettled proud, and take no care who chafes, who frets, or were conspirers are. Macbeth shall never vanquish me until get Birnam wood to high Dunsinani hill shall come against him. Descends Macbeth, that will never be. Who can impress the forest with the tree, and fix his earthbound wood, sweet Bodman's good rebellion's head? Rise never till the wood, O Birnam, rise. In our high place, Macbeth shall leave the lease of nature, pay his breath to time and mortal custom. Yet my heart throbs to know one thing. Tell me if your art can tell, so Marshal Banku, you shall ever reign in this kingdom. All seek to know no more. Macbeth, all is satisfied, deny me this, and an eternal curse fall on you. Let me know why sings that cauldron. What noise is this, hot boys? First witch show, second witch show, third witch show. All show his eyes and grieve his heart. Come black shadows so depart. A show of 8 kings, the last with a glass in his hand. Ghost of Banquo following. Macbeth, thou art too like the spirit of Banquo down. Thy crown does sear mine eyeballs, and thy hair, the other gold-bound brow, is like the first. A third is like the former filthy hags. Why do you show me this? A fourth, starred eyes. What will the line stretch out to the crack of doom? Yet another, yes, 7, I shall see no more. Yet the 8th appears, who bears a glass, which shows me many more, and some I see, that twofold balls and treble scepters carry. Horrible sight. Now I see, 'tis true, for the blood bolter Banquo smiles upon me, and points at them, for his apparitions vanish. What is this so far? I, sir, all this is so, but why stands Macbeth thus amazedly? Come, sisters, cheer we up his sprites, and show the best of our delights. I'll charm the air to give us sound, while you perform your antic round, that this great king may kindly say, "Oh, did this welcome pay, music, the witches dance, and vanish with Hecate." Macbeth, where are they gone? Let this pernicious hour stand I accursed in the calendar. Come in without there, enter Lennox. What's your gracious will? Macbeth, saw you the witch sister? No, Lennox, no, my lord. Macbeth, came they not by you? Lennox, no, indeed, my lord. Macbeth, infected by the ear whereon they ride, and damned all those that trust them. I did hear the galloping of horse. Who was came by? Lennox, taste 2 or 3, my lord, that bring you word. Macduff is fled to London, England. Macbeth fled to England. Lennox, aye, my good lord. Macbeth, time that anticipates my dread exploit, the flighty purpose never is overtook, unless the deed go with it. From this moment the very firstlings of my heart shall be the firstling of my hand, and even now to crown my thoughts with axe, be it thought and done. The castle of Macduff I'll surprise, seize upon 5, give to the edge of the sword his wife, his babes, and all his unfortunate souls that trace him in his line. No boasting like a fool this deed I'll do before this purpose. Kuzma, no more sights. Where are these gentlemen? Come, bring me where they are exhumed. Scene 2, 5, Macduff's castle. Enter Macduff, her son and Ross. And Lady Macduff, what had he done to make him fly the land, Ross? You must have patience, madam. Lady Macduff, he had done his floods madness. When our actions do not, our fears do make us traitors. Ross, you know not whether it was his wisdom or his fear. Lady Macbeth, wisdom to leave his wife, to leave his babes, his mansion and his titles in a place from whence himself does fly. He loves us not, he wants the natural touch of the poor, and the more diminutive of birds will fight her young ones in her nest against the owl. All is the fear and nothing is the love, as little is the wisdom where the flight so runs against the whole reason. Ross, my dearest cause, I pray you school yourself, but for your husband he is noble, wise, judicious, and best knows The fits o'er the season. I dare not speak much further, but cruel are the times when we are the traitors, and do not know ourselves when we hold rumor. From what we fear, ye yet know not what we fear, but float upon a wild and violent sea. Each way and move, I'll take my leave of you. Shall not be long, but I'll be here again. Think at the worst will see, or else climb upward to what they were before. My pretty cousin, blessings upon you. Lady Macduff, fathered he is, and he is fatherless. Ross, I am so much a fool. Should I stay longer? It would be my disgrace and your discomfort. I take my leave at once. Exit Lady Macbeth. Sirrah, your father is dead. And what will you do now? How will you leave, son? As birds do, mother. Lady Macduff. What, with worms and flies, son? With what I get, I mean, so do they. Lady Macduff, poor bird. Thou'st never fear the net not lime, the pitfall not the gin. Son, why should I, mother? Poor bird, they are not. Said, for my father is not dead, for all you are saying. Lady Macduff, yes, he is dead. How wilt thou do for a father, son? Nay, but how will you do for a husband, Lady Macduff? Why, I can buy me 20 at any market, son. Then you'll buy 'em to sell again, Lady Macduff. Thou speakest with all thy wheat, and eat the faith. With wheat enough for thee, son, was my father a traitor, mother? Lady Macduff, aye, that he was, son. What is a traitor, Lady Macduff? Boy, one that swears and lies, son, and be all traitors that do so, Lady Macduff. Everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged, son, and must they all be hanged that swear and lie, Lady Macduff. Everyone, son, who must hang them, Lady Macduff. Why, the honest men, son, then the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers enough to bid the honest men hang up them, Lady Macduff, now. God help thee, poor monkey, but how wilt thou do for a father, son? If you are dead, you'll weep for him. If you would not, it were a good sign that I should quickly have a new father. Lady Macduff, poor prattler, how thou talkest. Enter a messenger, bless you, fair dame. I am not to you known, though in your state of honor I am perfect. I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. If you will take a homely man's advice, be not found here hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do what to you were fell cruelty, which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you, I dare abide no longer. Exit. Lady Macduff, whither should I fly? I have done no harm, but I remember now I am in this earthly world to do harm. Is often laudable to do good sometime, accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up their womanly defense to say I have done no harm and are murderers? What are these faces? First murderer, where is your husband, Lady Macduff? I hope in no place so unsanctified, where such as thou mayst find him. First murderer, he is a traitor, son, thou liest, thou shag-haired villain. First murderer, what you ate, stabbing him, young fry of treachery, son, he has killed me. Mother, run away, I pray you, dies. Exit Lady Macduff, crying murder, exit murder, following her. Scene 3, England, before the king's palace. Enter Malcolm and Macduff. Malcolm, let us seek out some desolate shade, and there weep or sad bosoms empty. Macduff, let us rather hold fast the mortal sword and like good men bestride our downfall and but down each new morn. New widow howl, no, new orphans cry, new sorrows strike heaven on the face that it resounds, as if it filled with Scotland and yelled out like syllable of dolor. Malcolm, what I believe I'll wail, what no believe, and what can I redress? And I shall find the time to friend I will, what you have spoke, it may be so perchance. This tyrant whose sole name blisters our tongues was once thought honest, you have loved him well. He hath not touched you yet, I am young, but something you may deserve of him through me and wisdom. To offer up a weak, poor, innocent lamb to appease an angry god, Macduff, I am not treacherous, welcome, but Macbeth is. A good and virtuous nature may recoil in imperial charge, but I shall crave your pardon. There which you are my thoughts cannot transpose. Angels are bright still, though the brightest fell. Though all things foul would wear the brows of grace, yet grace must still look so. Macduff, I have lost my hopes, Malcolm, perchance even there, where I did find my doubts. Why in their honest left you wife and child? Those precious motives, those strong knots of love, without deep taking, I pray you. Let not my jealousies be your dishonors, but mine own safeties. You may rightly judge whatever I shall think. Macduff, bleed, bleed, poor country. Great tyranny, lay thou thy basis sure, for goodness dare not check thee where thou thy wrongs. The title is feared, fear thee well, Lord. I would not be the villain that thou thinkest, for the whole space there's in the tyrant's grasp, and the rich is to boot. Malcolm, be not offended. I speak not as in absolute fear of you. I think our country sinks beneath the yoke. It weeps, it bleeds, and each new day a gash is added to her wounds. I think withal there would be hands uplifted in my right, and here from gracious England have I offer of goodly thousands. But for all this, when I shall tread upon the tyrant's head, or wear it on my sword, yet my poor country shall have more vices than it had before, more suffer and more sundry ways than ever by him that shall succeed Macduff, or should he be Maclegum. It is myself, I mean, in whom I know all the particulars of vice so grafted, that when they shall be opened, black Macbeth will seem as pure as snow, and the poor state esteem him as a lamb, being compared with my confineless harms. Macduff, not in the legends of hurried hell can come a devil more damned in evils to stop. Macbeth, Malcolm, I grant him bloody, uxorious, avaricious, false, deceitful, sudden, malicious, making of every sin. That is a name, but there is no bottom, none. In my voluptuousness, your wives, your daughters, your matrons, and your maids could not fill up the cistern of my lust and my desire. All continent impediment would overbear that they oppose my will. Better Macbeth than such an one to reign. Macduff, boundless intemperance in nature is a tyranny. It hath been untimely emptying of the happy throne and fall of many kings. Bear fear not yet to take upon you what is yours. You may convey your pleasure in a spacious plenty, and yet seem cold the time you may so hoodwink. We have willing dames enough. There cannot be the vulture in you to devour so many as well to greatness dedicate themselves, finding it so inclined. Welcome with this. There grows in my most ill-composed affection such a stanchless avarice that, were I king, I should cut off the nobles for their land, desire his jewels, and this other's house, and my more having would be as a sauce to make me hunger more, that I should forge quarrels unjust against the good and loyal, destroying them for wealth. Macduff, thus avarice sticks deeper, grows with more pernicious root than summer seeming lust, and it hath been the sword of our slain kings. Yet do not fear, Scotland hath poisons to fill up your will. Of your mere own, all these are portable with our other graces weighed. Welcome, but I have none. The king becoming graces as justice, verity, temperance, stableness, bounty, perseverance, mercy, lowliness, devotion, patience, courage, fortitude. I have no relish of them, but abound in the division of each several crime, acting in many ways. Nay, had I power, I should pour the sweet milk of concord into hell, uproar the universal peace, confound all unity on earth. Macduff, oh Scotland, Scotland, Malcolm, if such a one be fit to govern, speak. I am, as I have spoken, Macduff, fit to govern, no, not to leave a nation miserable, with an untitled tyrant bloody sceptred. When shalt thou see thy wholesome days again, since that the truest issue of thy throne by his own interdiction stands accursed, and blaspheme his breed? Thy royal father was a most sainted king. The queen that bore thee oftener upon her knees than on her feet died every day she lived. Fear thee well, these evils thou reapest upon thyself have banished me from Scotland, O my breath, I hope, Ends here, Malcolm Macduff, this noble passion, child of integrity, hath from my soul wiped the black scruples, reconciled my thoughts to thy good truth, and honor devilish Macbeth. But many of these trains had sought to win me into his power, and modest wisdom plucks me from over credulous haste. But God above, deal between thee and me, for even now I put myself to thy direction, and unspeak mine own detraction here abjure the taints and blames I laid upon myself. For strangers to my nature I am yet unknown to women, never was forsworn, scarcely have coveted what was mine own. At no time broke my faith, would not betray the devil to his fellow, and delight no less in truth than life. My first false speaking was this upon myself. What am I truly? Is thine my poor countries to command? Without indeed before thy here approach, O seaward with 10,000 warlike men, already at a point was setting forth, now will together, and the chance of goodness be like our warranted quarrel. Why are you silent, Macduff? Such welcome and unwelcome things at once, 'tis hard to reconcile. Enter a doctor, welcome, well, more anon. Comes the king forth, I pray you, doctor, sir. There are crew of wretched souls, they stay his cure, their melody convinces. The great essay of art, but at his touch, such sanctity hath heaven given his hand. They presently amend. Malcolm, I thank you, doctor. Exit, doctor. Macduff, what's the disease? He means, Malcolm, 'tis called evil. A most miraculous work in this good king, which often since my here remain in England I have seen him do. How he solicits heaven himself best knows. But strangely visited people all Solon and ulcerous. Pitiful to the eye, the mere despair of surgery he cures, hanging a golden stamp about their necks put on with holy prayers, and 'tis spoken to the succeeding royalty he leaves healing benediction with this strange virtue. He hath the heavenly gift of prophecy, and sundry blessings hang about his throne that speak him full of grace. Enter Ross. Macduff, see who comes here, Malcolm, my countryman, but yet I know him not. Macduff, my ever gentle cousin, welcome hither. Welcome. I know him now. Good God, betimes remove that means that makes us strangers. Ross, sir, amen. Macduff, stands Scotland where it did. Ross, alas, poor country, almost afraid to know itself, it cannot. We called our mother, but our grave were nothing. But who knows nothing is once, seem to smile. For sighs and groans and shrieks that rend the air are made not marked, where violent sorrow seems a modern ecstasy. The dead man's knell is there, scarce asked for who, and good men's lives expire before the flowers in their caps. Dying or ere they sicken, Macduff, or relation too nice and yet too true. Malcolm, what's the newest grief, Ross? That of an hour's age doth hiss the speaker. Each minute tims anyone. Macduff, how does my wife, Ross? Why, well. Macduff, and all my children, Ross, well too. Macduff, the tyrant has not bettered at their peace. Ross, no. They were well at peace when I did leave him. Macduff, but not a niggard of your speech, how goest? Ross, when I came hither to transport the tidings which I have heavily borne, there ran a rumour of many worthy fellows that were out, which was to my belief witnessed the rather, for that I saw the tyrant's power afoot. Now is the time of help. Your eye in Scotland would create soldier, make our women fight to doff their dire distresses. Malcolm, be it their comfort, we are coming thither. Precious England hath lent us good seaward and 10,000 men, and older and better soldier none that Christendom gives out. Ross, Bray could answer this comfort with the like, but I have words that would be howled out in the desert air, where hearing should not latch them. Macduff, what concern they? The general cause, or is it a fee grief due to some single breast? Ross, no mind that's honest, but in it share some woe, though the main part pertains to you alone. Macduff, if it be mine, keep it not from me, quickly let me have it. Ross, let not your ears despise my tongue forever, We shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard Macduff. I guess it at it. Ross, your castle is surprised, your wife and babes savagely slaughtered to relate the manner. Where on the quarry of this murder dear at the death of you, Malcolm, merciful heaven, what man, your pool, your hat upon your brows, your sorrow words, the grief that does not speak, whispers the overfraught heart and bids it break. Macduff, my children too, Ross, wife, children, servants, all that could be found, Macduff, and I must be from thence. My wife killed too, Ross, I have said. Malcolm, be comforted. Let's make us medicines of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief. Macduff, he has no children. All my pretty ones, did you say all? Oh, hell kite, all. What? All my pretty chickens and their dam at one fell swoop? Malcolm, dispute it like a man, Macduff, I shall do so, but I must also feel it as a man. I cannot but remember such things that were most precious to me. Did heaven look on and would not take their parts in full, Macduff? They were all struck for thee, not that I am, not for their own demerits, but for mine. If slaughter on their souls, heaven rest them now, Malcolm. Be this the whetstone of your sword, let grief convert to anger, blunt not the heart enraged, Macduff. Oh, I could play the women with mine eyes, and braggart with my tongue, but gentle heavens, cut short or intermission, front to front. Bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length, said him, if he escape. Heaven forgave him too. Welcome, this tune goes manly, come. Go we to the king, our power is ready. Our lack is nothing, but our leave Macbeth is rife for shaking, and the power is above. Put on our instruments, receive what cheer you may. The night is long, and there never pines the day exeunt. Act 5, Scene 1. Dunsinani, ante-room in the castle. Enter a doctor of physic and a waiting gentlewoman. Doctor, I have 2 nights watched with you, but can perceive no truth in your report. When was it she last walked, gentlewoman? Then since his majesty went into the field, I've seen her rise from her bed, throw her nightgown upon her, unlock her closet, take forth paper, fold it, write upon it, read it, afterwards seal it, and again return to bed, yet all this while in a most fast sleep. Doctor, a great perturbation in nature to receive at once the benefit of sleep and do the effects of watching in this slumbery agitation, besides her walking and other actual performances. What at any time have you heard her say, gentlewoman? That, sir, which I will not report after her. Doctor, you may to me, and it is most you should. Gentlewoman, neither to you nor anyone having no witness to confirm my speech, entered Lady Macbeth with a taper. Lo you, here she comes. This is her very guise, and upon my life fast asleep. Observe her, stand close. Doctor, how came she by that light? Gentlewoman, why, if stood by her, she has light by her continually, it is her command. Doctor, you see her eyes are open, gentlewoman, aye, but their sense is shut. Doctor, what is it she does now? Look how she rubs her hands. Gentlewoman, it is an accustomed action with her to seem thus washing her hands. I have known her continue in this a quarter of an hour, Lady Macbeth, yet here is a spot, Doctor, her she speaks. I'll set down what comes from her to satisfy my remembrance the more strongly. Lady Macbeth, out, damn spot, out, I say. 1, 2, why then, 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky, fee, my lord, fee, a soldier and feared. What did we fear? Who knows it? When none can call our power to account, yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him? Doctor, do you mark that? Lady Macbeth, the Dane of 5 had a wife. Where is she now? What will these hands ne'er be clean? No more, oh that, my lord, no more, oh that you mar all with this starting. Doctor, go to, you have known what you should not. Gentlewoman, she has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known. Lady Macbeth, here is the smell of the blood. See, all the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand. Oh. Doctor, what a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged. Gentlewoman, would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body. Doctor, Well, gentlewomen, pray God it be, sir. Doctor, this disease is beyond my practice, yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep, who have died holily in their beds. Lady Macbeth, wash your hands, put on your nightgown, look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out on grave. Doctor, even so. Lady Macbeth, to bed, there's knocking at the gate. Come, give me your hand, what's done cannot be undone. To bed, exit. Doctor, wish she now go to bed, gentlewoman, directly. Doctor, foul whisperings are aboard. Unnatural deeds do breed unnatural troubles, infected minds to their deaf pillows will discharge their secrets. More needs she the divine than the physician. God, forgive us all, look after her, remove from her the means of all annoyance, and still keep eyes upon her. So good night, my mind. She has mated amazed by sight, I think, but dare not speak, gentlewoman. Good night, good doctor, exeunt. Seen to the continued Dunsinani, Roman colors enter, mentith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, and soldiers. Mentith. The English power is near, led on by Malcolm, his uncle Seward, and the good Macduff. Revenge is burning them for their dear causes. Would to the bleeding and the grim alarm excite their mortified man. Angus, near Birnam wood, shall we well meet them? That way are they coming. Caithness, who knows if Donalban be with his brother? Lennox, for certain, sir, he is not. I have a file of all the gentry. There is Seward's son and many other of youths that have even now protest their first of manhood. Mentith, what does the tyrant? Caithness, great Dunsinani he strongly fortifies. Some say he is mad, others that lesser hate him do call it valiant fury, but for certain he cannot buckle his distempered cause within the belt of rule. Angus, now does he feel his secret murders sticking on his hands? Now minutely revolves upbraid his faith breach. Those he commands move only in command, nothing in love. Now does he feel his title hang loose about him, like a giant's robe upon a dwarfish thief? Mentith, who then shall blame his pestered senses to recoil and start, when all that is within him does condemn itself for being there? Caithness, well march we on to give obedience, where 'tis truly owed, meet we the medicine of the sickly will, and with him pour we in our country's power each drop of us knocks, or so much as it needs, to dew the sovereign flower and the drown the weeds, make we our march towards Birnam. Exeunt marching, scene 3, Dunsinani, a room in the castle, enter Macbeth, doctor and attendants. Macbeth, bring me no more reports, let them fly all till Birnam wood. Remove to Dunsinani, I cannot tent with fear. What's the boy, Malcolm? Was he not born of woman? The spirits that know all mortal consequence have pronounced me thus. Fear not, Macbeth, no man's that born of woman shall e'er have power upon thee. Then fly false things, and mingle with the English epicures. The mind I sway by, and the heart I bear, shall never sag with doubt, nor shake with fear. Enter, servant, the devil damn thee black, thou cream-faced loon, where got'st thou that goose look? Servant, there is 10,000 Macbeth geese, villain, servant, soldiers, sir. Macbeth, go prick thy face and overread thy fear. Thou lily-livered boy, what soldiers fetch? Death of thy soul, those linen chicks of thine are counselors to fear, what soldiers thy face? Servant, the English force to please you, Macbeth, take thy face hence. Exit, servant. Sit on, I am sick at heart. When I behold, sit on. I say, this push will cheer me ever, or deceit me now. I have lived long enough. My way of life is fallen into the sear, the yellow leaf, and that which should accompany old age, and honor, love, obedience, troops of friends, I must not look to have, but in their stead, curses, not loud but deep, mouth honor breathe, which the poor heart would fain deny, and dare not. Sit on, enter, sit on. What is your gracious pleasure, Macbeth? What news more, Citon? All is confirmed, my lord, which is reported. Macbeth, I'll fight till from my bones my flesh be hacked. Give me my armor, Citon. 'Tis not needed here, Macbeth. I'll put it on, send out more horses, scour the country round, hang those that talk of fear. Give me mine armor. How does your patient, doctor? Not so sick, my lord, and she's troubled with thick coming fancies that keep her from her rest, Macbeth, and cure her of that. Canst thou not minister to a mind diseased? Pluck from the memory a rooted sorrow, raise out the written troubles of the brain, and with some sweet oblivious antidote, cleanse the stuffed bosom of the perilous stuff which weighs upon the heart. Doctor, therein the patient must minister to himself. Macbeth, throw physic to the dogs, I'll none of it. Come, put mine armor on, give me my staff, sit on. Send out, doctor, the thence fly from me. Come, sir, dispatch. If thou couldst, doctor, cast the water of my land, find that disease, and purge it to a sound and pristine health. I would applaud thee to the very echo that should applaud again. Pull it off, I say. What rhubarb, cyme, or what purgative drug would scour the English hens? Hearest thou of them, doctor? Ay, my good lord, your royal preparation makes us hear something. Macbeth, bring it after me. I will not be afraid of death and pain till Birnam forest comes to Dunsinane. Doctor, aside were I from Dunsinane way and clear profit again, should hardly draw me here. Exeunt. Scene 5. Continue Birnam wood. Ramen collards enter Malcolm, Seward, and young Seward, Magda, Menteith, Caithness, Angus, Lennox, Ross, and soldiers marching. Malcolm, cousins, I hope the days are near at hand that chambers will be safe. Menteith, we doubted nothing. Seward, what wood is this before us? Menteith, the wood of Birnam. Malcolm, let every soldier hew him down a bow and beard before him. Thereby shall we shadow the number of our host and make discovery. In report of us, soldier, it shall be done. Seward, we learn no other but the confident tyrant keeps still in Dunsinane and will endure our sitting there before it. Malcolm, 'tis his main hope. For where there is advantage to be given, both more and less have given him the reward, and none serve with him but constant things whose hearts are absent too. Macduff, let our just censures attend the true event, and put we on industrious soldiership. Seward, the time approaches that will with due decision make us know what we shall say we have and what we owe. Thoughts speculative, their unsure hopes relate, but certain issue strokes must arbitrate, toward which advance the war. Exeunt. Marching. Scene 5. Dunsinane within the castle. Enter Macbeth, sit on, and soldier with drum and colour. Macbeth, hang out our banners on the outward walls. The cry is still, they come our castle strength with laugh a siege to scorn. Here let them lie till famine and the ague eat them up. Were they not forced? With those that should be ours, we might have made them dareful, beard to beard, and beat them backward home. A cry of women within. What is that noise? Sit on. Is this the cry of women, my good lord? Exit. Macbeth, I have almost forgot the taste of fear. The time has been, my senses would have cooled to hear a night shriek, and my fellow of hair would at dismal treatise rouse and star. As life were in it, I have supped full with horrors, direness familiar to my slaughterous thoughts cannot once start me. Re-enter. Sit on. Wherefore was that cry? Sit on, the queen, my lord, is dead. Macbeth, she should have died hereafter. There would have been a time for such a word. Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow creeps in this petty pace from day to day, to the last syllable of recorded time, and all our yesterdays have lighted fools the way to dusty death. Out, out, brief candle. Lies but a walking shadow, a poor player that struts and frets his hour upon the stage, and then is heard no more. It is a tale told by an idiot, full of sound and fury, signifying nothing. Enter a messenger. Thou comes to use thy tongue, thy story quickly. Messenger, gracious my lord, I should report that which I say I saw, but know not how to do it. Macbeth, will say, sir. Messenger, as I did stand my watch upon the hill, I looked toward Birnam, and anon methought the wood began to move. Macbeth, liar and slave. Messenger, let me endure your wrath. If it be not so, within this 3 mile may you see it coming, I say, moving. Row, Macbeth, if thou speakest false, upon the next tree shalt thou hang alive. till famine cling thee. If thy speech be sooth, I care not. If thou dost for me as much, I put in resolution and begin to doubt the equivocation of the fiend. The lies like truth, fear not till Birna mood do comes to Dunsinani, and now wood comes towards Dunsinani, arm. And out if this which he vouches does appear, there is nor flying hence nor tearing here. I gin to be weary of the sun and wish the state, oh the world were now undone. Ring the alarm bell, blow wind, come rack, at least we'll die with harness on our back. Exeunt scene 6, Dunsinani before the castle, drum and colours enter. Malcolm, Macduff and the army which bows. Malcolm now near enough, your leafy screens throw down, and show like those you are, you what the uncle shall. With my cousin, your right noble son, lead our first battle, what the Macduff, and we shall take upon what else remains to do according to our orders. See what fare you well do. We but find the tyrants forward tonight, let us be beaten. If we cannot fight Macduff, make all our trumpets speak, give them all breath, those clamorous harbingers of blood and death. Exeunt scene 7, another part of the field. Alarm center Macbeth, Macbeth. They have tried to tied me to a stake, cannot fly, but bear like I must fight the cold. What see? There was not born of a woman such a one, am I to fear or none? Enter young Seward. Young Seward, what is thy name, Macbeth? Thou wilt be afraid to hear it, young Seward. No, though thou dost call yourself a hotter name, that any is in hell. Macbeth, my name is Macbeth. Young Seward, the devil himself, could not pronounce a title more hateful to mine ear. Macbeth, no more fearful. Young Seward, thou liest about tyrant, with my sword I'll prove the lie you speakest. They fight and young Seward is slain. Macbeth, thou wast born of woman, by swords I smile at weapons love to scorn, brandished by man, that's of a woman born. Exit alarms, enter Macduff. Macduff, that way the noise is tyrant, show thy face if thou be slain, and with no stroke of mine my wife and children's ghosts will haunt me still. I cannot strike at wretched cons, whose arms are hired to bear their staves. Either thou, Macbeth, or else my sword with an unbettered edge I sheathe again undearred. There thou shouldest be by this great clatter, one of greatest snow seem brooded, let me find him fortune. And more I beg not. Exit alarms, enter Malcolm and Seward. Seward, this way, my lord. The castles gently rendered, the tyrants people on both sides do fight, the noble danes, your brave in the word. The day almost is a prophecy is yours, and little is to do. Welcome, we are met with foes. The strike beside us, Seward, enter the castle, sir. Exeunt alarm scene 8, another part of the field, enter Macbeth. Macbeth, why should I play the Roman fool and die on mine own sword, whilst I see lives the gashes do better upon them. Enter Macduff. Macduff turned hell hound turned. Macbeth, of all men, else have I avoided thee, but get thee back, my soul is too much charged with blood of thine already. Macduff, I have no words, my voice is in my sword, the bloodier villain than tongues can give thee out. They fight Macbeth, thou losest labor and easy mayest thou the entrenched air with thy keen sword impress, as make me bleed. Let fall thy blade on vulnerable crest. I bear a charmed life, which must not yield to one of woman born. Macduff, despite thy charm, and let the angel whom thou still hast served tell thee Macduff was from his mother's womb untimely raped. Accursed be the tongue that tells me so, for it hath cowed my better part of man. And be these juggling fiends no more believe that pelter with us in double sense, that keep the word of promise to our ear and break it to our hope. I will not fight with thee, Macduff. Then yield thee, coward, and live to be the show and gaze all the time. We'll have thee as our rare monsters are, painted on a pole and under writ, here may you see the tyrant. Macbeth, I will not yield to kiss the ground before young Malcolm's feet, and to be baited with the rebel scars, though Buena mood become to Dunsinani. And the opposed being of no woman born, yet I will try the last before my body. I throw my warlike shield. Leon, Macduff, and damn be the first cry holden up. Exeunt fighting, alarms, retreat, flourish, enter with drum and colours. Malcolm, Seward, Rost, the other Thanis and soldiers. Malcolm, I would the friends we missed were safe arrived. Seward, some must go off And yet by these I see so great a day as this is cheaply bought. Malcolm, Macduff is missing, and your noble son Ross, your son, my lord, has paid a soldier's debt. He only lived but till he was a man, the which no sooner had his prowess confirmed in the unshrinking station where he fought, but like a man he died. Seward, then he is dead, Ross. Aye, and brought up the field your cause of sorrow must not be measured by his worth, for then it had no end. Seward, had he his hearts before Ross, I on the front. Seward, why then God soldier be he? Had I as many sons, have I heirs? I would not wish them to a fairer death, and so his nail is no old Malcolm. He is worth more sorrow, and that I'll spend for him. Seward, Seward, he is worth no more. They say he parted well and paid his score, and so God be with him. Here comes newer comfort. Re-enter Macduff with Macbeth's head. Macduff, hail king, for so thou art. Behold where stands the usurper's cursed head. The time is free. I see thee compassed with thy kingdom's power, that speak my salutation in their minds, whose voices I desire aloud with mine. Hail King of Scotland, all hail King of Scotland, flourish. Malcolm, we shall not spend a large expense of time before we reckon with your several loves, and make us even with you, my thanes and kinsmen, henceforth be ours, the first that ever Scotland in such an honour name. What's more to do which could be planted newly with the time, as calling home our exiled friends abroad, that fled the snare of watchful tyranny, producing forth the cruel ministers of this dead butcher and his fiend-like queen. Oh, as 'tis thought by self and valiant hands took off our life this, and what needful else their calls upon us by the grace of grace will perform in measure, time, and place. So thanks to all at once, and to each one whom we invite to see us crowned at scone flourish exeunt.